All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Business Saturdays. This is actually now the third episode that we've done. Episode 1, we had Mr. Shane Rye, who's a photographer, come in here to the studio. We had a great conversation. Last week, Kenny Long from New Wave Hobbies stopped by. We got to talk about that business. And today, we've got an even, different kind of business. We're kind of switching it up on you. We were talking photography, hobbies. Now today, we're going to talk about hamburgers. So I got Mr. Luke Frost here to talk to us about Luke's Breakfast and Burgers. Luke, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Man, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. I love your restaurant. We'd love to go by whenever we can and eat a good burger. Talk to me a little bit about, because people around here in Dixon, I think at this point, you guys have been around for a couple years now, and you've really kind of established your name out there, so people see Luke's. They may not know exactly who Luke is. I've interviewed you before, but if you don't mind, kind of take us back in history to, your early days and kind of what brought you to, Tennessee and brought you to this area, because I know that you grew up in Georgia.
Yes, so I did. I grew up in Georgia, obviously a big Georgia Bulldog fan, Atlanta Braves fan. I get that question a lot because the restaurant's covered in Georgia Bulldogs and Atlanta Braves memorabilia. But I grew up there. What brought me to Tennessee actually was 1998. I got offered a full scholarship to MTSU to play football from Coach Boots Donnelly, the legend. And he's actually come out to the restaurant and ate with me. So that was an honor because he's a great, just very well-respected coach. And, I played football there. I got injured my senior year, blew my knee out, and I had to go to work. Things were the time of playing football, college football was over. I actually went into retail, graduated with aerospace science degree, but that was around 9/11. So there was a lot of confusion what was going to happen with airlines during then. So I went into retail and actually moved up pretty quickly in the retail business. Started with Lowe's. I was there for about 15 years. Actually took a job as a store manager in Starkville, Mississippi. Split family household though, had kids back here, so it was a short-term thing. Supposed to be short-term. I was supposed to be down there a couple of years, ended up being 4 years. Didn't really have an avenue to get back home because the Nashville market was locked up. Those store managers were sticking, to their store and they weren't moving. So saw an opportunity to open up my own business. We opened up Bulldogs Bar and Nightclub back in 2017. That brought me back home. Actually jumped through a couple different places. I ran Tractor Supply here for a couple of years because that opportunity opened up while I had the store, but while I had the bar here. But once COVID hit, it was tough doing both. I had to, face with a tough decision of closing the business or, leaving Tractor Supply and trying to come and, do the bar full time, try to figure that out through that whole year 2020 was tough. Yeah. Just trying to figure all that out. So we decided to open the place up as a to-go food place throughout that transition when the bar wasn't allowed to be open. And during that time, it was kind of what set me up for opening a restaurant because all we did was food. But being that there was so few places that offered food during that time, we had a lot of people who got to try our food for the first time. People didn't like going to a bar. They'd stop by and grab some food to go, take it home. And we kind of grew the reputation of having good food. So at that point in time, I was like, man, maybe I should open up a restaurant. And, we had really good burgers. I'm a burger guy,
Oh, yeah.
Who doesn't enjoy a good burger? And so, the opportunity come open to open up Luke's in a previous burger joint here in town. And you got to take the top opportunity when it comes. So that's where, we've been there for about 2.5 years now, and that's what's going on.
It's hard to believe it's been that long. I think the last time I interviewed you, I feel like we've done this a couple of times, but I know for sure that I interviewed you right before the restaurant opened. And I brought you in because I knew it was coming, and I wanted to try to help out and help you promote the whole thing. And at the time, you believed in it. I know that you thought it was going to work. now here we are 2.5 years later. Talk to me just a little bit about, that ride. And I know there's been some ups and downs, but, here we are 2.5 years later. You guys are still going strong. You got to be proud of that.
Yes, I'm very proud. I'm very blessed and thankful, though. I got, a great wife to support me, some awesome kids to help support, but most importantly, community to help support us. The ones that really believe in us, that continue to show up and support us, support the staff, we can't thank them enough. It started out like, right out the gate. We were really busy, I guess kind of like a new business would be. And we had a lot of hurdles there at the beginning because you got some very critical customers who like to give their opinion of things. And to be honest with you, I'd never owned a restaurant. Hell, I'd never even worked in a restaurant. I just knew we had a good product, and I knew that I had a passion for success and a passion for leading a successful team. And we kind of threw all that together and went from there. Things have been a little rocky, due to the economy, trying to weather the storm of price increases. Employees not necessarily wanting to stick around and work. That's been up and down. I've got a great staff now. I'm very thankful for them. But you go through a lot of employees before you find the right ones.
Yeah.
And getting everybody to understand that, if you sell a $15 burger basket, you ain't taking $15 and putting it in your bank account.
Right.
Right. You've got the lease, you got the utilities, you've got insurance, you've got the cost of the goods, you got payroll, you got taxes.
Taxes. Everybody forgets that one.
Understanding taxes is tough. You're not just paying taxes on the goods that you buy or sell. You got to pay taxes on paying your employees. And, that's one of the toughest things is the money you never see that goes straight from your account to the employees, or tips for that matter, servers, goes straight from the credit card to their bank. And you paying taxes on that as well. There's just a lot that not everybody understands when it comes to why your prices are what they are. I've only raised my prices twice in 2.5 years, and really it should be more than that. You got to maintain a certain cost percentage for your food in order to be successful, in order to be profitable. And, it takes a few years to turn a profit, to be honest. Yeah. And, you're not just raking in the cash. It's you're trying to survive, And a lot of people look at entrepreneurs as like, oh, man, they're loaded. They got it made. No, technically, and I'll say this for all of the small business owners out there, I'll speak for them. You invest everything you have into something that you believe is going to be successful. And a lot of times you go into it and you're broke. You're like, man, how am I going to pay the bills at first? And then you just keep grinding, man. You grind every day and you hope to be successful, and you hope to have a good week. You hope to have a good day, a good month to help set yourself up for success. And those good months come, but then the bad months come too. May is a tough month for any service industry business. The weather gets nice outside and everybody's like, man, we're going to go to the river. We're going to the creek this weekend. You got graduations that really mess up your Friday and Saturdays, which is your big number days. Then you got Memorial Day weekend that really puts a damper on things because people are going, they're going out of town, vacations start. So again, it's just planning ahead and trying to weather all these storms, because June, it picks back up. It's been a good month. So you just got to, once you figure out that pattern, it gets a little bit easier.
So, man, one of the things that I love that you do is breakfast. And I know when you first started, that wasn't even a thing at first. It's just Luke's Burgers, and it sort of evolved, and it became Luke's Breakfast and Burgers. And I know there's been some struggles with, finding the right help to and the hours and stuff like that. But talk to me a little bit about adding in the breakfast, because I love it. That's become one of our favorite meeting places for me and some of my guys that discuss history and stuff. We'll come up there and we'll get us a breakfast over at Luke's. Talk to me about expanding that and trying to maintain it, and maybe even some of the struggles of that.
Yeah, that's a touchy topic, because when I first opened, it was supposed to be a burger joint. We were going to do lunch and dinner. Changed the hours a lot, trying to figure out what was going to work best for our customers, deciding on when to open, when to close. And then we got a lot of feedback that they wanted another breakfast location, that they didn't have a lot of places to choose from. And they're tired of, the typical Shoney's or Cracker Barrel, the big names. They want another mom and pop place to go to. Of course, Janine's and Cindy's and Donna's were already there, but it's like everybody wants something new. So, with some places have great breakfast. That's where I used to eat breakfast before I had my own place.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
So we thought about it, and we're like, let's do it. I love when I go to eat an omelet, I want that thing to be huge. Of course, I try to do everything big, and we wanted a big omelet, big biscuits, big juicy sausage patties, big pancakes, and so we took a chance on it. And again, you kind of get that refreshed, reopening type thing, and everybody starts coming and piling in, and then it kind of fades off, and it's like, now what do you do? And then again, like I said before, you have those months where they're good and they're bad, and you got to weather that, and determine whether or not if it's profitable. Right now, we're only doing breakfast on Saturdays, and it's unfortunate because I would like to do it all week long. Finding a staff that you can trust to put out that product that you can support for 3 meals a day is tough. And the reason we had to cut back was because of, number one, was staffing, but also because of payroll. Your payroll percentage needs to be at a certain spot in order for you to be profitable again. And to be honest with you, you get the feedback from some customers that they want breakfast, they love your breakfast, but then when you open up, it's like, where's everybody at?
Right. It's like some sort of weird balance, and I know there's been some struggles with that, and we're trying to come in on Saturdays and kind of try to pick that up so that you can get it going again. But no, I just wanted to throw it out there that it do have good breakfast, and and when it's open, which is on Saturday right now, I would advise people to go out and give it a shot because it's unique. It's a little bit different than what everybody else has.
Yeah, we try to do a lot of different things, and I would like to see it be open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday again. Me personally, that's where I like to eat breakfast.
Yeah.
And a lot of our customers say the same thing. They only go out to eat for breakfast, and that's what they look forward to. People from all over the place, different counties, have mentioned the breakfast, and we really enjoy it too. We enjoy the early mornings, the customers that come in that just want to sit and have a few eggs and coffee or read the newspaper or whatever. It's kind of what I, see when I see a restaurant is you got your regulars that come in and kind of hang out a little bit, so giving the customers that type of place is important.
So when I go into Luke's, it's not like every other place, right? It's a little bit different. It's got a different vibe to it. I appreciate, as a sports guy and a coach myself, and I know you're a coach and love sports yourself. It definitely has that sort of vibe to it, but I'll let you speak for your restaurant yourself. When you were like putting this together and you were kind of envisioning what you wanted the vibe to be like in there, talk to me a little bit about that, because I do feel like it's unique and there's not really another place that's just like it around here.
Well, I'm glad you pointed that out. Some people have kind of mentioned it's like Cheers, where everybody's family.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the vibe I wanted to give. We, ever since I become a business owner 7 years ago, my number one thing was giving back to the community. I come from a family that wasn't very fortunate, so helping other people is definitely a part of my business model from day one. And helping out different sports teams, supporting sports teams, bringing the kids in their uniform, and when you walk in, everybody's just kind of happy, and my staff treats you like family. Sometimes they'll sit down with you when they take your order, just to make you feel at home.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to feel at home when they sit down and they're going to spend money on a meal. And a lot of time when I go out to places, you kind of get that feeling like this is your server, this is a person helping you. Well, when that server goes and takes a break or whatever, and you need something, and you got to ask another server for something, it's kind of like you get the vibe, well, I'll get your server, or let me find your server for you.
Yeah.
And to me, I feel like that's bad service. So something we do is our servers, they don't have sections. They serve everyone. They work together as a team, and try to cover all the tables together. And a lot of times, the feedback I'll get is, well, your servers come to my table like 4 or 5 times, and they're all checking on us, and I'm like, that's the kind of feedback I like. That means you're getting great service that we want to support. And the kids come in and they're like, they have their coloring pages, and I've got a whole wall in my office of pictures that kids have drawn just for me, and it's
cool.
I love that kind of stuff. To me, it's always been about the kids, and we're planning on bringing back the Kids Eat Free night on Tuesdays. When we had Devona in there with the face painting and the balloons and stuff.
That was cool. We played one night.
Yeah, that'll be coming back on Tuesdays. So really looking forward to that.
So hold on, I'll edit this out here. I lost train of thought for a second. I had a question I wanted to ask you. Are you good?
Yeah.
You finished? All right, we'll go for about maybe 5 or 10 more minutes. All right, here's my next question. I thought of it. All right, here's my next question for you, Luke. I've now had a few entrepreneurs in here, and I've talked to them about kind of the struggles that they have. I noticed the other night, I follow you on Facebook, we're friends and everything, and I noticed that you were out at another restaurant, you're supporting another restaurant. I thought that was really cool. One of the vibes that I've gotten from the entrepreneurs that have come in here to do the show is how, how much they like to support other entrepreneurs. And, I've kind of noticed that about you. You guys all kind of face similar struggles. So first off, talk to me a little bit about, about how you do like to support other businesses. And also, what's the biggest, struggle that an entrepreneur faces today in this, this whole world?
Well, thank you for noticing that. I think that, there's a lot of entrepreneurs here in this little town of ours that are fighting hard every day. Like I said, a lot of people may think that, well, you're opening up a business and the government just wrote you a check for $1 million. Are you loaded now? That's just a very big misconception, because like I said, we invest everything we have into something we think is going to be successful. And I know a lot of people here in town that have done that. And Morgan, for one, is me and her have had a lot of conversations about the ups and downs of owning a business. I mean, a lot of times when you go into business for yourself, it's a risk. You could always go work for another company and guarantee yourself that check every week or every 2 weeks. But the biggest struggle about owning your own place is you do it because you want more time to spend with your family and friends, but then you find yourself working, nonstop, 70, 80 hours a week. And a lot of times you go without a paycheck. Yeah. So really that's the biggest struggle, is planning ahead for the ups and downs. You may make good money one month, and next month or two you may not make anything. But you're working hard every day to make sure your staff gets paid. And when you have those tough times, one of the tough things I've had to do is have a conversation with my employees about having to cut back hours. Because if you're not leveraging that payroll, then you're not making you're not being profitable, and you've got to make those tough decisions. So just juggling, all of that, knowing that you want your staff to be to continue to get their hours, because if you take their hours away, or if you have to adjust their hours, then their whole life is changing as well. And a lot of times we just find ourselves working really hard to make sure our staff is taken care of, and I'm not sure that everybody understands that.
Yeah.
They don't understand the struggle, and for me, it's just in my heart. I want to make sure my staff is taken care of. Make sure that financially, I'm paying them what they deserve, and making sure they get their hours so they can take care of their family. Making sure that they have the schedule, 2 or 3 weeks out, so they can plan for their families. It's just it's juggling a lot at once, but for me, I'm always wanting to make sure my staff is taken care of.
So here, I'll go ahead, and we're getting kind of closer to the end here. We've been going for, I think, a little over 20 minutes now. I do want to ask you a couple questions, though, here on the way out. And both of them kind of relate to things that you do outside of your main business. And one thing that I've kind of noticed from talking to entrepreneurs is, number one, they're usually pretty creative people. Because you've got to be pretty creative to come up with a business and then be able to execute it and things like that. And most often, they do something else in their life that's really cool as well, not just what they do for business. I know you're a coach, if you don't mind talking about that for a minute, because here we are in June. We're about to hit the dead period, and people who are involved in local high school and middle school sports know what that means. And then once we come back from the dead period in July, it's basically football season at that point. And I know you've done a lot of work with the Bobcats over here in Burns, and they've had a real successful program. But if you don't mind talking about that a little, kind of here on the way out, what are your thoughts on the upcoming football season?
All right, so yes, creativity. So let me just touch on that for a second. We're always trying to create different things that build some hype around your business. And so what we did, and a lot of people don't understand, this takes like weeks and weeks of preparation, but we just started a summer lunch special menu from 10:30 to 2 that has really some cheaper options on there, some more like refreshing type sandwiches, chicken salad sandwich and things like that. I've been advertising about it a little bit, just to give people cheaper options to run in, grab a sandwich or whatever, and get out whatever they need to do. There's also a happy hour from 2 to 5 that allows some $1 drafts, half off appetizers. Again, that's just something creative that we're trying to add, here to try and build some hype around the business. Yeah. So, but as far as football goes, like you said, this actually starts dead week. The last week of June, first week of July is dead period. Yeah. And then July 8th, we're right at it. Football starts. We'll be 3 or 4 days a week practicing. Actually took the offensive coordinator position this year at Burns, so I'm really excited about working with the kids. I feel like middle school is that period of time where you see them grow so much. From 6th to 8th grade, they go from such a young child to almost a small adult by the time they get to 8th grade. Is it not crazy?
I was talking to Nikki about this the other day because I spent time as the Dixon Middle School soccer coach for years, and I was telling her, because the boys are kind of going through that, and I said, between 6th grade and 8th grade is probably the biggest jump that a young man takes, as far as physically speaking. So, just to kind of piggyback on that, you're 100% right. Yep. It's crazy, isn't it?
It is. It's wild. And, they'll come into the 6th graders and they may not be able to lift a sandbag or, flip a tire or anything. But by the time they're in 8th grade, they're like little monsters. Yeah. It's like, it's crazy. Their strength improves. And for me, I think it's so important for them to play sports. I think it's important for them to, in the summertime, their friends are all on vacation, going to the swimming pool, playing video games, whatever, in the house in the AC, eating Little Debbie's, and just, but come July, these guys gotta drink water and hydrate themselves and eat the right food and be ready for that 5 to 7 practice when it's hot outside. They're going to be sweating. They're going to be physically improving themselves. And it's hard, but I think the discipline that comes from playing sports is so important. And you really see an improvement in the individual from 6th to 8th grade when they go through playing those sports and the discipline of being in the heat, and improving themselves like that physically. So,
man, I'm excited about it. I actually was texting with Rusty Wells the other day, asking him. I said, "Hey, Coach, I do a little radio work and stuff like that, and I want to go ahead and be putting out the schedule. Do you have a copy?" And he went ahead and sent it to me like he usually does. And so I was kind of getting my calendar out, and I was getting excited, because my son plays, and we're looking forward to coming out to the games this year. And his program's done well the past few years, and you guys have done a good job. And very, very proud to be from Burns, and the work that they're doing out there in the programs at the school, not only football, but baseball, basketball had successful seasons too as well. All right, so I got one more question for you. You got to love sports. You coach, man, the Luke's Burgers has got, paraphernalia from teams all over. I wish there was more of my favorite teams, but it's most of Georgia teams. But you've sort of started to branch out a little bit and think about doing another business, if you don't mind kind of chatting with me about that. We've talked about this a little bit. I know that you kind of want to maybe not let all of it out of the bag, but you're thinking about doing something else sports related, another business here in Dixon. Give me a quick preview of that if you don't mind.
Well, the saying goes, if you're doing something that you love, if you're working doing something that you love, then you're not really working every day. And the older I get, the more I understand that.
Yeah.
And sports is definitely where my heart is. I played football, baseball, and basketball my whole life growing up. My son played. My daughters have all played some sports. I've got one that plays basketball and softball at the high school, one that runs track. My youngest son is football, baseball, and basketball lover at 8 years old.
Yeah.
He got my passion for sports, and I'm just in love with that. But I've been a pretty avid sports memorabilia collector, sports card collector since I was 8 years old. Off and on, I've been really big into the hobby, whether it was collecting or selling. I had a full scholarship at MTSU, and they paid for everything. But if you wanted some extra money, you had to do something. And I was doing a lot of I had an eBay store. I was doing card shows. I kicked myself all the time because I remember back then I had a ton of Tom Brady rookie cards that I probably sold for $20-25.
Oh, man.
And they're worth thousands now.
Oh, wow.
But I still have a lot of good stuff. I've got totes and totes and boxes of sports memorabilia and cards, and I've just gotten back into it really big in the last couple of years. And a good buddy of mine, Kenny Long, here has a New Wave Hobbies store that I visit frequently, especially with my son. He's really big into the Pokemon and the video games and all the cool stuff that you remember as a kid. And I actually got with him on this because he's a good friend of mine, and I don't want to step on any toes, and I got his blessing on this. But I'm thinking about opening up a sports card store. I found out recently that the location I'm looking at used to be a sports card store. It's been a barbershop for the last few years right next to my restaurant. Mm-hmm. And I've talked to the landlord about that location, and hopefully, if everything goes as planned, in August I'll be opening up a sports card store there. It'll be focused on just sports, not the whole huge range variety of video games and stuff like that. I'll be focused on just sports cards and memorabilia. So I look forward to that, actually. And there's a lot of stores in Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, Franklin. We don't really have anything out this way that's just focused on sports cards, so hopefully it'll be something everybody enjoys.
Man, speaking of that store, I actually remember going to that store as a kid. I can remember me and my cousin, we would go cut grass, and my favorite player, because I'm a St. Louis Cardinal fan, as most of my friends who are watching know, Mark McGwire was my guy, so I go get me some Mark McGwire cards, and I loved it, and then he would always get King Griffey Jr. And so we would work and we would go to that card shop. So for some old guys like me, you'll be there's some nostalgia to that, I must say, that you may not even be aware of. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that's really cool, and I appreciate you kind of premiering that on here. I don't know if a whole lot of people know about that yet, so thank you for coming and sharing that, and just thank you overall for coming by. As we're kind of closing out here, I know you already kind of talked about your specials, but do you want to mention maybe your hours or website or anything else, people who not as familiar with Luke's? I go there all the time, and I just want to say real quickly thank you. I'm celiac, I can't eat gluten, and you guys keep the gluten-free buns out there for me, and I appreciate that. So for my fellow celiac folks that follow us, head over there. They'll take care of you with one of those buns. But yeah, you want to plug the restaurant before we head out here? Yeah,
sure. So, breakfast and burgers is the headline there. But we do a lot of other things. Like you said, we have gluten-free buns. We got a really good turkey burger, really good chicken salad, chicken sandwiches, chicken sliders. For those that don't necessarily like beef, we got a lot of good options. Try to cater as many people as you can without having too much inventory. But and recently we just dropped a special menu that has chicken salad sandwich is my favorite. It's really good chicken salad. We try to make a lot of stuff in-house, so it's fresh. Tuna salad sandwich, pimento cheese sandwich, tomato sandwich.
Yeah,
that's good. Taking it way back, tomato and mayo. I used to love tomato sandwich, and so just something cheap, that you can come in and grab, and it's it doesn't cost a whole lot of money for us and don't cost you a whole lot of money. So trying to fight the inflation a little bit. McDonald's is releasing a $5 menu. I don't know, if you think about what you could buy nowadays, everybody's been to the grocery store, what you could buy that you could have someone else prepare and pay them to do so and still sell for $5. I just don't want to touch it,
I'm with you.
So keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out where you're going to go eat.
Yeah.
Mom and pops type restaurants are always trying to do original ingredients and make their own stuff in house and provide you with the best quality of food possible. We use certified Angus beef, which we take a lot of pride in. It's the best beef out there. And again, we got breakfast on Saturdays. The better it does, the better opportunity we have to expand that. If you haven't tried the chicken and waffles yet, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
We got a pretty good breakfast burger too. But the new menu is ready. The special menu, we got a steak sandwich on there. It's really good. And we're also doing a hamburger steak. So with grilled onions and gravy and all that. Something that everybody really likes.
I love it.
We've had a lot of people request it before, so we have that available now. Then the happy hour starts from 2 to 5. We got dollar drafts, half off appetizers, and $9.99 burger and fries. Just deals you can't find everywhere. Hopefully we can meet people in the middle, price wise. So just to make everybody happy, and we love serving the community. We love serving people. We love our regulars. We have a lot of new people that come in, surprisingly, that say that this is the first time they've tried it. So we're located over in the Dixon Plaza, 255 Dixon Plaza, across from Big Lots, and we just look forward to seeing everybody there.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming in, and I'm actually hungry now after hearing you read through the menu, so I'm going to call Nikki and see if she wants to go get a burger today. And I would encourage the rest of you to go out this weekend and go to Luke's Burgers, man. Let's go. Let's give them an influx of business and